Have you ever noticed how we start to become the things we like? Like, you're not just someone who uses Apple products, you're an Apple user. Or you don't just like Coke better than Pepsi, but you're a Coke drinker. Before you know it, you're defending a company or a product against criticism like it's a member of your own family. I was what is affectionately known as an Apple fanboy for years, decades really. I would defend the Mac over Windows and the iPhone over Android every chance I had. I followed all the pro-Apple bloggers and the podcasters and internalized all the things that they talked about so that I could win those arguments. But sometime a few years ago, some kind of a switch flipped in my brain and I realized those things had started to define who I was. I was putting a lot of energy into defending these huge corporations that had convinced me that they had some kind of a personality and that they believed in the same things that I did. There were three big problems with that perspective. Number one, it would get my blood pressure up and put me on the defensive every time I saw a negative post on social media or somebody said something to me in person. Second, I ended up ignoring things that those companies did that weren't necessarily aligned with my own values in some way. And three, I missed out on a lot of cool things from other companies. When I realized this was happening, I widened my horizons a bit. I started learning about other products. I started to see cracks, honestly, in Apple's armor where some of their business practices are not as altruistic as they would like us to think. And probably most importantly, I started to listen to why some people prefer different products. Personally, I still prefer Apple products for most things, partly because I'm familiar with them and partly because I just like the way they work. But I also recognize now that they're not the best products for everyone. Now, I use Apple as the example here because it was my biggest blind spot for so long. But the same thing applies to any product or company that you like. It could be the type of music you prefer, the brand of car that you drive, the soda that you drink, or any number of other things. If you internalize those things to the point that they become part of who you are, you're probably missing out on a lot of interesting options. And if you're anything like I was, you might be a little bit insufferable about it sometimes too. So is there something in your life that's become part of your identity, part of who you are? If so, how's it working out for you? I'm willing to bet it probably adds more stress and conflict than it adds enjoyment at this point. So why not try letting go of those attachments instead? You might be surprised by some of the cool things that appear when you start paying attention to them. Thanks for watching, folks. And if you're new here, my name's John. I'm working on creating a life that's more aligned with my values and sharing what I learn along the way. If something in this video resonated for you, I'd love to hear about it, so please let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next one.